Hello, welcome to Techturks. Again, today we have Omon, the founder of Dew. Dew is a wellness center that supposedly looks after the mind, body, and soul. So, Omon, thank you for coming to Techturks.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Dew, from your resume, you were a designer, mahogany, and then now Dew. So, was that a departure or a progression of what you were doing?
Okay, so I'm still a designer.
Okay.
I'm still an interior designer, and in fact, just before I came on, I had a quick look through my last interview. Right, it was almost 2 years ago to the day. Listening to that again, it was almost like we were predicting the next couple of years, right? And in that time, so much has changed. Yes, I'm still an interior designer, but now my focus is on wellness-focused design, right? So the Dew Center actually stands for Design, Education, and Wellness.
That answered my next question.
Okay. So we're designing spaces, but most importantly, we're designing experiences, and we are equipping people with the tools to design their lifestyles.
Okay, so Dew is predominantly about wellness, and there are a few activities that add up to that. I know that you have this yoga, there's some massages, there's physiotherapy, there's also psychologists. I believe that's a term. Now, why do you think that this is the right time to invest in this type of project, especially in the Nigeria context? What makes Dew completely different? Why would you succeed?
Okay. So you asked me 3 questions.
Yes.
I'll try to remember them. The first one is why Dew?
Right.
Dew was birthed out of my personal experiences, particularly as an interior designer, being in a very high intensity, constantly stressful environment, working towards deadlines, etc. And so I looked to a lot of different therapies, including psychotherapy, to help me cope and manage stress, and to just help me function optimally and productively in what I was doing. So why Dew specifically? Because it brings the 3 things that I am most passionate about. I'm most passionate about design. I'm extremely passionate about education and continuous education. And wellness was a need. It was a need and still is a need that we face constantly. So that's why Dew. Why do I think it will be successful? Because we all need help. We don't necessarily know yet or accept that we need help, and that's where the education part of Dew comes in, where we were sensitizing people. We're letting them know that actually the way you live is not normal. We've normalized stress. We've normalized insomnia, but it shouldn't be so. So there's nothing in particular that Dew is doing. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not doing anything new. What we're doing is that we're bringing it all together on a platform that is easily accessible, and we are guiding and educating people on how to use these tools, right? So massages have been here for hundreds of years, so has yoga, but more people are turning towards these therapies to be able to cope with day-to-day.
Yep. I've been to the Dew Center, of course. Nice space, and so this is a new business. So how was the journey to setting up Dew? We're in an era of entrepreneurship and everything. So you already had a business before, and then you now plunge into this business. So what were the challenges, and what kept you going despite even all the perceived challenges?
Okay, so again, back to lockdown, lots of time on my hands. Personally, with myself at home, and just observing on social media, there were so many people just struggling with being locked up in a particular space, right? So I had time to formulate the seed of a business idea that had begun to form, but I also had time to actually experience one-on-one these solutions that I was putting together. One of the challenges that we faced and still do face is just general awareness. So when I say wellness center, people hear spa. I didn't say spa because that sort of notion of spa is something you do now and then on the weekend. You just treat yourself, get a massage, and then you carry on doing everything you were doing before until the next time, right? But what we are trying to do is educate people about how to live better every day. One new remedy, one little change, try and drink a little bit more water, better diet, stretch more. All these little things add up so that you're not just problem solving, you're also preventing, right? And we're also linking that back to the design of space. People who were not locked down in conducive spaces suffered more. There were higher counts of depression, higher numbers of suicide, and that was partly because of just all the emotional stuff, but also because of the physical impact of space on your mood and on your emotions. So we're trying to educate people. We're also consulting, particularly with corporates, about how you can make your space not just look better, but feel better and be a more productive work environment for your team.
So let me go back to this wellness, and especially mental wellness bit, because I think that's very, very key. So they always say, there are many sayings, mind over matter, the body is willing, the mind is weak, the mind is willing, the body is weak. But we see that even in sports now, like most successful sports personalities, they will have their personal trainers, they will have their physiotherapists, but they will also have their mental trainer as well, mind trainer. When and how do you think we're going to get that paradigm shift that people also I go to the gym, I have a personal trainer to keep me fit and keep me strong, that I will also take on board a mental trainer, call him what you like, right? And maybe it's the nomenclature, but when do you think, how are we going to get that shift? Because I think it's very, very important, especially from leadership perspective. And one thing Nigeria needs is a lot of leaders who think why, broad and wide.
Okay, so that goes back in a way to one of your earlier questions, which is why do you, right? I intentionally wanted to create a space that was conducive, right? So a spa environment where you can go and see a therapist and it doesn't feel so clinical. It doesn't feel like this, dark room you're going to or whatever, right? There's no stigma at the Dew Center because you could be walking in for anything. You could be going to get a massage, you could be going for whatever, right? And because of my personal experiences, I wanted to put my money where my mouth was. I wanted to create a platform where I could also talk about mental health and my mental health journey and encourage other people to do the same. I think this paradigm shift will happen when those who are aware, those who are benefiting from therapy actually come out and say me too, right? In this context, it gives other people that sort of courage, and there's strength in numbers, there's strength in knowing that you're not the only one going through challenges, and it's okay to ask for help. So talking about it more, definitely more important, very important, and creating a space where people can actually go. One of the things that we encourage now at the Dew Center, we organize a lot of group activities, we organize activities for organizations, associations, corporations. Two questions. How are you creating awareness for this? How many people know about this? How many people have come to the Dew Center? How are you even funding this? Because we know that, especially in this space now, everyone is selling their market, and that means you have to rise above the noise. So how is that going? Okay. So how are we telling people about the Dew Center? So the Dew Center is at the moment growing quite organically. Most of the people who come to us come via word of mouth, right? As we speak right now, we've got 30 people at Dew who've come for a team day at Dew. But it came from one lady who came for a massage, loved it so much, and brought the entire group with her. So right now there's a lot of word of mouth going on. But of course we're going to do a lot more PR and marketing to make sure not just that people know Dew exists, but to make sure that the message of what we're doing is clear and widespread. It's not just spa, there is that, but it's more fundamental, it's more about lifestyle, and it's more about a sustainable wellness. So I continue to work as an interior designer, literally to fund Dew for the moment until we pick up. And then of course we will be looking to get a couple more investors in to make sure that we're able to not just sustain what is now in effect a proof of concept, but that we're able to scale to a larger space, right, that will have all our current wellness activities and services and facilities, but we're hoping to also have on-site accommodation as well, so that people can literally have a getaway for a few days or a week or whatever, and maybe have a retreat and so on and so forth.
Well, you also answered my last question, which is what is the future for Dew, and you just answered that, where we can now I guess have a staycation, so we don't have to actually go outside the shores of Nigeria to actually experience this wellness. Omon, thank you very much for coming on to Techturks, and we'll continue the conversation offline.
Thank you, my pleasure.